All right, Algebra 1, we are ready for our second day of Indicator 11, and I wanted to just show you guys a few examples like the ones that we did in class today. We are working on, why is it not writing? There we go. All right, so this is Indicator 11, Day 2, and we're dealing with function notation today. All right, and whenever we're dealing with function notation, we always know x is our input value and y is the output value. And so whenever we have an equation, do you guys remember like in middle school, you would make a table like this for an equation? And so then you would have values for x that you would actually plug in to here. And so you would do like 3 times 0 and you get 3. 3 times 1 would, oh, that's 0. I can't multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. So what this did, this right here is what we call a function rule. 3 times x. 3 times the input, and then that gives us an output. If we have a function, instead of saying y, we can actually use this notation f with a parentheses x. It's actually read f of x. So when we read this, when we say this out loud, we actually say f of x. So today I'm actually going to have you guys do some function notations and plugging in values. So the first type, I'm going to give you a function in notation. F of x is equal to 3x minus 6. And the first thing I'm going to ask you to find is f of 2. So what this tells us, plug 2 in where you see an x. 3 times 2 minus 6. So wherever I see, whatever we see here, we are going to plug in for x. So this value here is going right in for x. And then we just do order of operations. So 3 times 2 is 6, minus 6 gives us an answer of 0. All right, and then we can do f of negative 4. And we do the same thing. 3 times negative 4 minus 6. And we get negative 12 minus 6, which is negative 18. Now we can also add one more step to it. We could do something like f of 3 and then plus 7. So we're actually going to plug in 3 first, and then afterwards we're going to get an answer and add 7 to it. So let's do f of 3 first. The function rule is 3x minus 6, so we plug in a 3. So we get 9 minus 6, which is 3. Then at the very end, add that 7, and that gives us an answer of 10. So with function notation, whatever you have in your function rule, that's what you're plugging in for x. And we can use other letters besides f. Sometimes you see g of x, sometimes you see h of x, sometimes you see k of x. Who knows? Sometimes they just give you different letters. So I want to do another type of problem, and let's go with g of x this time equals x squared plus 4x. And let's do g of negative 5. So this time we have 2 x's in our function rule. So this value, negative 5, we are plugging that in for x in both places. So negative 5 squared plus 4 times negative 5. Negative 5 squared means a negative times a negative becomes a positive 25. A positive 4 times a negative 5 is a negative 20, so that gives us an answer of 5. And we can also plug in variables. G of 3b. So wherever I see an x, I'm actually going to put 3b in its spot. So 3b squared plus 4 times 3b. So I have to square 3 times 3 is 9, b times b is b squared, plus 12b. Now, those are not like terms because they don't have the same exponents, so Sometimes you have an expression as an answer, and that's also okay. All right, and then I have one more thing I want to add. We did not do mapping in our notes yesterday in class. I believe the virtual kids did have those online. But if you have a map of ordered pairs and you have numbers with some lines going to them. All right, so what this means, we have an input and an output bubble. So whenever it's drawing a line from a 2 to a 6, that actually means that in this relationship, there is a point at 2, 6. The same thing goes here. 3 goes to 5, so we have a point 3, 5. And then 4 actually has a point 4, 6. And a second line goes to 7. So then you have to ask yourself, is it a relationship or a function? And we are looking at those input values, those x values, and we have a repeat, so we would say that this is a relation or not a function. So I just wanted to show you an example for the assignment today because you do have a couple maps on there. And if you guys have questions, remember I'm open all day on Wednesday and Thursday. I'm also pretty wide open because we're on a flex schedule, so don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great day.